Good morning, everyone. We are covering some AI in the auto body industry, and I am joined with Daniel Burkholder of Body Shop Marketing. And our last session, I think we covered our first topic quite well, and we just wanted to go on to the second and third topic of, bringing what is the pathway to bringing AI into your auto body agency, and what can that look like for you? And I think our first one, Daniel, if you can correct me if I'm wrong, because I'm getting old and can't remember everything, but we started talking about just using some assistance with respect to phone calling and AI and things in the office that could be alleviate some of the stress and pressure for some of the activities that people do. So what were our second and third points?
Yes, sir. You are exactly right. So last week in the session, we did discuss how to use AI basically from an admin level in the front office and how you can help to, I guess, use it as a tool so your team doesn't have to do so many small administrative tasks. The next two um, kind of areas that I wanted to talk about a little bit are how to leverage AI on the shop floor, and then also how to leverage AI for customer engagement. So we're going to dive into the shop floor one. I guess we'll see how far we get today. If we run out of time again, we might just need to leave the customer engagement one for another session. But I'm just going to dive right in. And Wendell, if you have any questions, I'll try to give you an opportunity to throw them in there. So basically what my thoughts are around leveraging AI on the shop floor is things like efficiency, estimating accuracy, and things like that. So let's imagine a scenario a little bit. Let's say you leveraged AI to help you with managing the workflow through the shop and your technicians' workloads. You could set up the AI where it can analyze your technician's abilities and see what work they can do faster, what they're good at, and then you can plug that into the workflow that's coming into the shop and let AI help you make that decision of what jobs go to what technicians. And then you can really start optimizing the workflow of who is good at what and helping to speed up basically the work through the shop, which turns into faster cycle times, hopefully safer repairs because you have the guys that are good at doing the jobs doing them. This isn't about replacing technicians, it's only about really letting them do what they do best so they can focus on the craftsmanship that they are really good at. Potentially another place that you could leverage AI on the shop floor is having AI create checklists as they're working through a job. Let's say they're working on a Ford F-150. Let AI create a checklist where the technician knows exactly what needs to be done based on the OEM repair procedures that the AI has pulled from the database, and it can create the checklist. So it's very easy for the technician to just click down through, boom, 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 boom. We've done all the required OEM procedures. That would be another way to help speed up the technician. Potentially also there's some ability for AI to analyze photos and look to predict hidden damage. Now obviously AI is does not have infrared. It can't see it can't see what you can't see, but it could certainly help you to predict some of these things and help you to hopefully write more accurate estimates that will take obviously fewer supplements. Here again, speed up your cycle times, have consistently safer repairs. So those are just a few different areas where I believe AI could be leveraged on the shop floor. I'm sure there's a lot more, but that would be a few to get you started. And here again, some of this would not necessarily take a really expensive AI software to get you up and started. You could get started with some really simple tasks for the AI. and leveraging something like ChatGPT. Wendell, did that raise any questions
It
on
does
your
totally, and
side?
it does only because I mean I know you've spent time in an auto body shop. I mean I've been in probably a couple dozen of them and done a bunch of consulting work in them, but never been the guy that actually handed the work or gave the work, those types of things. So just on the first one, when we talk about AI using it for sort of picking duties and responsibilities, I guess that somebody could be better at than somebody else. So I can understand how that could work in a large facility, like we can get some economies of scale, we have more guys. How does it work for like we've all met these guys where there's probably two or three guys in the shop and he does just about everything in the business. How does it help him? Like what could you see that helping him in that environment?
That's a great question. You're exactly right. That one I would say is probably going to apply to a larger facility because let's say you have two body technicians, one painter. You could start trying to leverage AI to analyze all the historic data of what technician did what and start seeing patterns, and it could maybe help you just to realize like, oh wow, this technician is so much, his cycle times are so much faster on this certain make and model, and you had not realized that before because you'd never spent the time to dig back through. Let's say he'd worked at your shop for 5 years and you had never spent the time to dig back through all of this, but you just plugged in AI and let it run through all that data. As far as actually then having the AI do the actual scheduling, if you have two body techs in the shop, probably it's just going to be as simple to have you do it. But like I said, maybe let AI analyze all that historic data that you have on file, and it can just bring some things to light. Like, oh wow, I didn't realize that technician A is so much faster at replacing a
Right.
box side on a GMC pickup truck than technician
Okay.
B.
And then so just let's just go, I'm going to take that just a step further because we talk about feeding it to AI. And so, but what is that like something I would make, let's say, scans of and then feed it into ChatGPT? Or like, do we know, is there a tool that exists to be able to help us with that? What helps us with that? Like, what tool can we use like as a shop owner today that is it yeah, like I just said, is it ChatGPT?
It's a great question. I don't know of any specialty AI software that somebody's built that can do this right off the top of my head. I know there's some like Voltonic. That one is fairly specialized for the auto body repair industry. I'm sure if you had that software, you could do that. Now that's a fairly complex software that you can manage the whole shop from. You can do a lot of things through it. Voltonic is the name of that one. But if you were looking for something simple, I imagine CCC probably has the ability to download like a CSV file of the last year's worth of work. Now, I can't say that for sure because I am not an expert in CCC, but let's say you could download a certain type of file, a CSV, a markdown, some type of spreadsheet file from your CCC software and then just plug that into ChatGPT and give it the task. Be very clear with what you want. And one of the things that I would suggest, this is a prompting style that I use almost every day when I'm working with ChatGPT. I give it four different prompt four this is four like a four section prompt. I give it context, so you want to give it context of what you're trying to do, and then you give it a role. Maybe you would tell it, you are an expert data analyst and I want you to dig into this, and then you give it, the next step would be to interview you. I normally tell it something like this: ask me one question at a time to better understand your task. And then the last step is I give it the task. I say, I want you to go and analyze all this data in this CSV file and pull out all the information around each technician that will be helpful for us to improve the shop's efficiency. That would be one method. It might be a little bit cumbersome. Like I said, I know of Voltonic. I believe that I've had a demo of that software. It looks like some super powerful software. If you're really looking to like just go all in on AI, leveraging AI on your shop, in your shop, Voltonic might be a good option. Here again, it's probably better suited for a larger
Okay. Okay,
facility.
that makes sense. Good point. And I mean, I've used your prompting before because you've told me this in a different conversation, and it does certainly help for when you're looking at trying to put together some data and trying to get some points. So on to kind of the next point of interest to me, and probably interest, I think, to some listeners would be, so when we're using it for repair estimation, like where do you see that coming from? And have you seen any software that looks promising, that looks like it could be helpful for the industry in general?
So I can't really speak to that. I have not done a ton of research on that. I am sure every large estimating software out there, and of course, as you know, CCC is the biggest one here in North America. I'm sure they're digging into this and trying to see how they can leverage AI. Has it become very accurate at this point? Probably not. Most estimators are probably going to scoff at it and be like, you got to be kidding me. I can write a better estimate than this. And that is probably true because these estimators are good. A lot of these guys are good. That being said, is AI, I believe in the next couple years is going to become exponentially better than it ever has been. So rather than being cynical about leveraging AI for estimating, is let's lean into it. I know there's companies out there that are definitely building software, some of these drive-through scanners that can pick up damage and then create an estimate from it. Can they see hidden damage? No. But can AI start learning and be like, okay, well, if we have a damaged rear bumper cover, well, then at this certain area, then highly likely the ADOS sensor is damaged as well, or there's a backup sensor that's damaged. Maybe the bracket will be need to replace. It's going to need ADOS recalibration. It can start at least suggesting things that are going to need to be done. And then of course the technicians, as they're doing their blueprinting or their disassembly, then they can be like, oh yes, you're right. That sensor bracket is damaged. It's broken. That's going to need to be replaced. So then we need to start planning. Okay, well, we're going to need ADOS recalibration. We need to schedule that into the timeline because that's going to add an extra couple days as it either is done in house or it goes out to a sublet. It can just help us start
Yeah.
predicting potentially what the timeline is going to be because it's going to start thinking through this rather than just, I think it's going to get a lot smarter. I don't know, Wendell, did that answer your
It
question?
does, and I think I mean, it raises another lots of other questions too. Not everyone that I'm going to bring up, but one of the other areas I think that I notice so much inefficiency at the auto body level is the parts ordering and you order a right fender and you get a left fender, or you order this and you get that. Do you see AI being able to function and alleviate some of those pressures that we're seeing in those types of situations?
Well, I guess the thing that comes to my mind right off is you could certainly be using AI to double check everything to make sure that there's not human error going on. And that is often where these mismatched parts come in is it's sheer human error when you're ordering it. Maybe you click the wrong box, you say the wrong thing, depending on whether you're ordering online or ordering over the phone or however your shop does its ordering. Why not have AI at least double checking that to ensure that you're trying to eliminate the human error as much as possible? Will you ever get away 100% from not having the right parts at the right time? Probably not. But like you said, Wendell, there's a lot of time lost, and your cycle times take a beating when you have the wrong part showing up. And here again, why not use AI in your parts department as well, where it can be helping to make your parts guy more efficient as he's receiving parts, checking to make sure that he's gotten the parts that have been ordered. um, AI can start flagging and watching that. And here again, you could get really, really sophisticated and build out or buy software that's built out for all of this. Or do you, like we were talking about before, try to leverage something like ChatGPT with just some internal SOPs that you're implementing to help your technicians and your people be more efficient?
Okay, so just so I can understand when we're talking about things that somebody could do on like in what they're doing on a daily basis, So do we think we could feed this into, like, let's say we were working on a Ford F-150 and do we feed all of our documents in there? We should try that, Daniel, and see what that actually looks like. Maybe run a repair through ChatGPT and see if it gives us some, expectations in terms of what the timeline looks like, where, what we're doing. And yeah, it'd be interesting to try that to see what it actually gives us.
That would be an interesting experiment. And I think also here again, I know we talked about this in our last session, was building out custom GPTs that you can give you can give this custom GPT all the data around your shop, and potentially even here again, why not build out this custom GPT where, let's say, you work on a lot of Fords, for example, since that's what we're talking about, ensure that this GPT has access or upload the files for the OEM procedures for all the main models that you work on at your shop, because that will just give you so much more accurate data coming out of the GPT when you're doing this. Like Wendell was suggesting, we run an experiment of putting like a CCC estimate into a GPT. So if you would just put that into a generic chat GPT, the data you get out will probably not be it will not be as accurate as if you have built out a custom GPT for your shop, that it has all this background knowledge on your shop, all the background knowledge on the Ford makes and or models and the repair procedures right inside as its database. It'll produce a lot better answers
Okay.
for
Which
you.
is exactly what we wanted to do, right? I mean, that's what we're trying to alleviate some of the
Yes,
human error and give us the ability to actually recognize our mistakes so that we can move our timelines faster, so we can obviously complete work faster and get the customer satisfied faster. So we're on minute 16,
agreed.
so I think we're going to wrap up this one. And how about, Daniel, on our next episode, why don't we work on, maybe you can share your screen while you build a custom GPT?
Hey, that's a
Yeah,
great
and
idea. Yeah, you bet. We could do a sample or whatever. Yeah, an example of how to build a custom GPT so guys could actually see how to do it.
okay. All right. Well, let's wrap up here.
You
If you have any
betcha.
questions or anything for Daniel or I, feel free to leave them in the comments below, and hopefully we can move on to creating more of this AI content, so that at least gives us an ability for us to understand it and for us to relay what we understand to other people that are out there in the industry.
You bet. Thank you guys. We will catch you next week. Take care.